Welcome to another episode of Cosmic Besties, your go-to place for all things spiritual, woo-woo, and just kind of out there. Today we are back into our intuition building, I guess, course, if you want to call it. And today we are focusing on clairsentience. So clairsentience is a clair that you may have where you feel something in your body and that's giving you a clue as to something that's going on around you.
Yeah. Oof. This one you might hear people refer to as being an empath, but being an empath and using clairsentience are two distinct different things, but when you're both, it can lead to a really interesting life experience. And I say that as a clairsentient empath in a household with two little clairsentient empaths. And so when you're a clairsentient and an empath, it means that you not only perceive emotions from other people, but like you feel them and you feel them deep. And when you've got a household of all of those folks, it can mean that the overall emotional tone or energy of the home changes on, the flip of a coin. So, where you may have been having a really pleasant morning, one person leaves, goes outside, plays with a friend, comes back in, totally different emotion. And all of a sudden, it's like this tidal wave that goes through the house. And it took me a long time to realize that both of my children were gifted in that space and that
Mhm.
that's what was happening. They were picking up and feeling things from other people and then bringing it in. Some of the exercises that will teach you over time will help you get to know your own body energy, and that is incredibly important as you're learning to differentiate what is your own emotional feeling, what is something that you're feeling that belongs to another person,
Mhm.
and what is something that is a message from spirit, um, or from your higher self that is supposed to give you a sign.
So I think it's important that you brought up how there's a difference between being empathic and receiving like a psychic download through your clairsentience. So a lot of people who are empathic pick up on other people's emotions and they're just very sensitive to that. That's not necessarily a download. That's you kind of tapping into somebody else's emotional state, their energy that's coming from them. Anybody who is like familiar with human design, people who are reflectors, they have a hard time with that because they feel everybody's energy so much. But that is not your clairsentience, that's your empathic nature. So I bet everybody here has been clairsentient at least once in their life where you just feel in your body when something is maybe not right. So for instance, like have any of you ever like your tummy starts to like do flip-flops or it starts to feel like kind of crampy, like you're gonna have like diarrhea or something? That's your body's way of tuning in through feeling that like it's almost like an alarm bell. It's something's not right to like tell you to get out of that situation. Or maybe it's towards a person where you're always around them and you just feel like sick afterwards. That's your body trying to tell you something. And you can train your body and like kind of like I call it coding. You can code your body so that it's easier for you to automatically know quickly whether something is for you or not for you. Um, for me, I use my clairsentience. Again, it's not my strongest one, but I use it a lot when I'm doing mediumship readings. And I'm trying to tap into somebody who has passed. A lot of times when they are like the person who's passed, the energy is trying to tell me how they've passed, I will feel it in my body. Like if it's a heart attack or something that's like breast cancer, maybe I may feel like a lot of heat in this area. If it's somebody who like had an aneurysm or maybe had like brain cancer, my head will start hurting. So that's my clairsentience coming in. So it can be feelings that you pick up on, like if you go into a house and you just feel like those goosebumps and you know that like something is maybe a little bit off. Or it could also be like that kind of flip-floppy feeling that I explained about that happens in your stomach. Or if you're trying to connect to somebody else, maybe you're feeling their pain. Those are all different ways that like your clairsentience is turning on and you're receiving information. So that's what it is. It's another way to receive information. And instead of you hearing it or seeing it, you are feeling it.
Yeah, I love that. I use it a lot going into different spaces. And I
Mhm.
remember using that, actually a good story is using it during our search for a home. So we over a decade ago we're looking to buy a house, and there were two houses I went into where I got different feelings, but they weren't great feelings. One was, I remember getting into the home, and as I walked in the door, felt like a weight was suddenly on me, and like it felt
Dense energy.
heavy and thick, and like I started to feel kind of like that loose feeling of nausea, and I did not know how to
Mhm.
describe it. But I remember in that moment, I told my husband, I was like, this is not for us. I don't actually need to see any more of the house. And we left. And then another home I went into, I remember walking into, and I was fine throughout most of the house. But when I got upstairs to a certain room, I felt really, really sad,
Mhm.
and I didn't know how to describe it. But it also made me feel like this wasn't the house for us. So um I with that one, I did meditate on it afterwards, and it was interesting because this is where like I hadn't really channeled much, but it did feel to me like there was some lingering energy in that home, and that someone had passed away in that space, and there was this like feeling of sadness that was there, and sort of the claircognizant message that came through after the clairsentience was like,
Mhm.
this home will make you, this home has too much of this, and like it's gonna make you and your family eventually feel sad. So
Yeah, that heavy feeling. That happened when my parents were moving back from France and I was going with my mom and looking at houses. And there was a house that just, we walked in, it was a beautiful house. It was like on a lake, it was huge. It was actually way too big for them, but it had a pool, it was great, and it was a really good price. And we walked in and I was like, something just feels off. And we went upstairs and towards like one of the end bedrooms, and it was that feeling what you said, like I just felt sad, like almost depressed. And then we walked into the walk-in closet and I felt like super angry. Like it just felt like this house feels sad and angry.
you just give me
And
goosebumps.
yeah, and so afterwards, when we were talking to the realtor, I asked because I was like curious. I'm like, did maybe somebody pass away here? Like, why is it such a low price for this like beautiful big house on a lake with a pool? And she said, oh, like it's a nasty divorce and they're just wanting to like be done with it. That's why the price is like so low. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. One of them must have been angry and somebody must have been sad.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Not the house for you.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And if the thing with houses are like you can go into a house and like there are things that you can do. I think we've probably talked about this before. And if we haven't, um, maybe we should, but you can like do clearings and blessings and you can raise the vibration. But definitely like listen to that feeling that your body is giving you when you go into spaces or when you're around certain people, because um that's information that your body is giving you to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm this is probably one of my more confusing gifts, again because of the empath thing, but
Mhm.
I do need to listen to it more because I think it's prevalent, and I think sometimes I just ignore
Yeah.
it.
I think it's easy to ignore and just be like, oh, this is just like my body. And especially because sometimes it's subtle. It's not always like, a pain like in your stomach or maybe it's just like the hairs on your arms stand up or you just feel like colder in one area. Um, so I think what you're saying, like I think that is for most people. It's an easy one to overlook because it's not quite as strong as like hearing something or like a repeated lyric that you talked about when we were talking about clairaudient. Um, so I think it's easy to overlook. But this week, I think we should all try and tap into our clairsentience. And I have kind of a little fun thing that you can try in order to kind of program your body. And like I said, like kind of code your own body so that you know when something is good or something is maybe not the best for you. Um, So if everybody wants to close their eyes, I want you to think of a memory that just feels really good. So a really happy memory. You got that memory? I want you to keep thinking about that memory and I want you to put it in your stomach. So just visually, you can imagine that memory going into your stomach. And then I want you to just kind of tune into how your body feels. Tune into any areas that maybe are coming online. Maybe you're getting goosebumps. Maybe you feel warm, but just tune into your body and see how it feels when you're thinking about that memory. And now I want you to do the same thing with maybe a not great memory. So maybe you had a bad day at work or whatever the memory is. I want you to tune into it now. And again, place that memory in your stomach. And I want you to feel into that memory. How does your body feel now? Do you feel nauseous? Do you have pinpricks? Is your tummy flip-flopping? Okay. So that is your coding. So now whenever you guys can open your eyes. So now whenever you are curious about something and you have a question, what I want you to do, like let's say for instance, I think Kelly has a crystal with her. What she would do is she would hold the crystal up to her stomach because we coded that feeling into your stomach. And she's going to ask, is this crystal something that would benefit me today? And she holds the crystal up to her stomach. And if she feels those same sensations that she felt when she thought about the good memory, she'll know, oh, okay, this crystal is maybe something I should carry with me today. But if she holds it up and she feels those kind of negative sensations that she felt when she thought about a negative memory, then she'll know to put that crystal back and just say, maybe not today. Maybe it's too powerful for me, or maybe it's not the right crystal for me today. You can do it with food, you can do it with supplements, you can do it in your mind's eye. Like imagine a person in front of you. Like let's say you your antennas are perking up and you're not sure if you should be collaborating with somebody or if you should be dating somebody. I want you to put them in front of you visually, close your eyes, and in your mind's eye, in your third eye, I want you to see them right in front of you and tune into how your body feels. That's going to be your kind of homework fun activity for this week.
I picked malachite, so
Ooh,
I apparently need to relieve some stress today.
yeah.
Probably after, the girls' sleepover.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, malachite, that's also good. Isn't it like good for like work and stuff too and bringing money in?
Yeah, it's malachite is a really cool, it's a stone of transformation. So it does all kinds of stuff. It's great for bringing money in, it's great for success. It's great for detoxification,
Ooh.
emotional healing, loosely protection. But it also malachite is really good for respiratory issues and
Oh,
like menstrual issues if you have cramps or you've got PMS symptoms.
oh, interesting. I also wonder if it's like good for your heart too, because it's that green color and your heart's green. Maybe just like place it on your heart. It'll let the stress melt away off of you.
Yes, for sure. All right. Well, we are excited to hear your experiences. So if you try out the homework that Christy gave you, please let us know what you experienced, whether that be via the comments or shoot us an email or contact one of us via DMs on social media.
Have a good one. Good luck.